My name is Ardith Watson. I was a teacher that directed Eddie on this project, and I became involved in the Student Research Awards by volunteering as part of the New York State Council for History Education, and was brought on board to judge some of the entrants last year. So knowing that Eddie has a great background in research and an interest in this, I reached out to him to see if he'd be interested in contributing a paper. So Eddie, how did you choose the topic for your project?
So when you approached me, I kind of had a few ideas filed away, and I'd actually read about the salt industry in a book about the history of salt across the world. And it kind of mentioned in passing that Onondaga salt had played a big role in the Civil War. And I think I read that in about 9th grade, so I'd kind of filed it away. And then when you mentioned this research, I was looking for something local, that related to New York. And so I emailed the Onondaga Historical Association with a few of my ideas, asking if they had information. And so then I went in and they kind of handed me a bunch of files on a few different topics. And this topic, or the salt industry, they definitely had about probably 3 times as much information. And so as I was looking, it was pretty clear that this was going to be a really interesting thing to research.
Yeah, that's great. So what was your favorite part about doing the project?
Yeah, so my favorite part was definitely actually going into the Onondaga Historical Association, and because they were, it's a really cool place. They have a museum, and then you kind of go into the back and they have all these filing cabinets full of scanned papers and archives, and actually the research librarian there is super helpful, and she knows a lot about what they're doing, so that was really great.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I found most rewarding about this project, and in fact this program in general. It's not just related to history teachers, but all the people and professions that are involved in history education, so librarians, historical societies, and things like that. So going to the Onondaga Historical Association and using that as the basis is a great way, I think, to bring sort of the history of an area into the classroom and things like that. So what advice would you give to future Student Research Award participants if they wanted to do this?
If I had one piece of advice, I'd say, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I was really scared when I first emailed the Historical Association, but they were super happy to help, and they were really excited, to kind of help me out with it. And I reached out to a few different people, and, everyone was just really nice, and no one was, mad that I wanted to research it. So I'd say, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and kind of see where you go, because you never know what happens.
Exactly. And I would say for future educators who want to participate in the program, really volunteer to get involved. I think judging it first gave me a good sense of sort of what people were looking for in the research, and I was better able, I think, to advise Eddie a little bit on the direction of his paper. But this was all your work, and on your shoulders. So congratulations, you did a phenomenal job, and who knew that the salt company was so important and cutthroat in Syracuse after the Civil War? So congratulations.
Thanks.